Hello and welcome to Backlinking, the PKM podcast, which I am considering changing the name of to just be an AI podcast because it seems to be the only thing I am talking about, anyways. Uh, because AI is like super important in productivity and PKM, which my channel and my podcast is all about. So, with all of the things happening in AI, there will be a lot of like AI discussions. What is AI going to be? Will we actually need AI everywhere, like the future of AI and stuff like that? So it will be a huge part of both my channel and this podcast. But today I wanted to talk about an AI product, but an AI product I have been a huge fan of, but the project was abandoned. But it doesn't seem like it is abandoned anymore, which just brings me to another point I want to touch on quite quickly. These SaaS products and the way some of them like communicate with their user base. Another one is Walling. Just quickly mentioning that Wallings haven't like the team behind Walling haven't answered a Slack message in their community for months. No one knows what's happening. We've been told that they are working on the application. They are trying to like fix it and rebuild it, but I haven't heard anything. I know that you can like set up a meeting with the founder, or not the founder, the CEO, but everyone can't do that. Like a simple message just saying we are working on it or we have abandoned it would be great, especially for a team like a New Computer, who is the team behind Dot, the application I am talking about today, um, because they are planning to continue releasing products and continue building things, whether that's Dot or a new application. I'm not sure. But being honest and just saying that, okay, we have scrapped this product, we are working on something new, or we are currently trying to figure out what this product is going to be. Probably not the second part, because a lot of people would just stop paying for the subscription, but like abandoning a product and planning to release a new one and not telling your customer base might have you in a situation where you where your customers won't join you to the new application you're building just because your communication hasn't been clear enough. But Dot, it seems like they are starting to work on it again, because they like closed the Discord back in December and sent an announcement message uh, that they are currently heads down working on the application and figuring out what it's going to be, and they will be back once they've like figured out the direction they want the product to go. And yesterday or 2 days ago, they released a tweet which will be included in the thumbnail of this episode, where they said that it's, I think, what they exactly said was, it's been a long while or something like that, something along those lines, which just means that they are coming out with some news again. I really liked Dot. I paused my subscription because the application hasn't been worked on, and they they released an update, I think it was 2 months ago, which is probably after I deleted the application. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's after they deleted the or after I deleted the application and stopped my subscription, because the application now felt different. And what Dot is, or not only felt different, but the onboarding was actually different. I created a new account because I couldn't remember my old one, but the onboarding was different, and I am considering paying for the subscription once again, because um, it was probably my favorite AI application, and some people think of this as like a companion app. And I don't know how into AI applications people are, but there are a lot of like friends, AI friend apps where you can like create your own AI avatar and uh, just create a friend, talk to someone, and as you like talk more and more with the AI, it you become better friends, sort of. And I've also seen people have relationships with their AIs. And I'm not going into that discussion. I will probably, maybe sometime in the future, do a separate podcast on that use case of AI, because I think it is also a little around mindfulness and productivity. If you stretch it a little, but I find it really interesting, and that's why I want to talk about it at some point, but I need to gather more research around it. But I have tested out a few of those applications, but I'm not looking at Dot for like I'm not looking at it for the friendships or companion use case. I am looking for productivity applications mainly, and especially mindful productivity applications. And one of my biggest issues is that I learn a lot of lessons just like everyone else. But when you run a business and you end up in situations like I do, where you always do things that you're not 100% sure of. Like you're always learning new things, which I am at work, and I am also with this YouTube channel, and I'm launching a newsletter, which is a separate business. Like a lot of things happening, you always learn new stuff. The issue is that I tend to forget all of the important lessons. So, for example, this isn't my first business. I've started several different businesses before. None of them went really well. And every time I feel like I've been closer, I've learned things, but I have forgotten all of those lessons. If I can have an AI chatbot that reminds me and helps me with strategies around things based on my experience, like basically a personal assistant with context. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not sure if Dot is going to be that, but I like the way, like, I like the interface where I can talk to an application and it will remember the things I say much more than I have to put information into it. I know that ChatGPT does some of the same things, like it has the memory feature. I haven't fully figured that out yet. But I have tested it out, and I actually recently asked it a few questions about me. Like I asked it to help me plan my day based on what it knows about me. I want uh, Dot to do the same thing. That's what I'm looking for. And I think just the user interface, it is iOS only. I think they have a web version as well. I haven't tested that out, but no Android version. It is just such a beautifully designed application, and it has so many really, really cool and fun features. But it is like not necessarily features, but the way things interact, like the way the chat works, the way the chat moves. I'm not sure if I would call that a feature. I would actually call that the user experience, or the UI. Um, I think that is what sold me on this application. I think a lot of the chats are good as well. I think it is quite good at answering, but I am pretty sure that they are using a language model. I'm not sure which one, but I think they are doing that. But that's beside the point. The point here is that I think it is a really beautifully designed application with memory, which is the two things I think will be really important. I've been back and forward with AI, but I think AI with the right context can be really powerful. AI without context, not so much. And I think, like, in order for an application to, or for an AI application to get the context that it needs, and also to have like mainstream adoption, which I also think will be really important in the future, it has to have two things. Like it has to be really easy to use, and like downloading a lot of PDFs, moving those PDFs or Word documents and moving them into the AI, not so easy. Telling the AI what you want, what you need in natural language, how your day has been, um, and it will remember those things much better. And as AI keeps developing, the memory will become better and better. The medium term memory will become better and better. Um, so that is just going to become easier and easier. I think that is much that is the way to go. Have, at least for mainstream adoption, just having something you can chat with, not necessarily be friends with, but think of it more as a personal assistant. That is how I'm thinking about it. That's the experiment I'm currently running. But in order for it to work, I have to spend like a week, two, maybe even a month, just talking with the application and getting all of my context to it, giving it all of my thoughts on different things, and basically just giving it a better understanding of me and who I am. And then I will try it for more of the personal productivity, personal assistant stuff. Uh, but the second thing that I think is really important is that it has to be beautiful, and it has to be well designed. I think that is important for people. That is at least important for me. And as I see my comments, like people go away from applications, just think of I've seen so many examples or so many comments around an application called Ample Note, and people say that it is such a good and powerful application, but they aren't going to use it because they don't like the user interface, and that is highly whether something is beautiful or not is highly personal. But there are a couple of applications that are just that everyone just thinks is beautiful. One of them is My Mind, for example. Um, and I think like a Dot from a New Computer is one of those applications. So I think this is super interesting, and I am waiting to see will they continue on this? Will they start something new? What is the news that we are waiting for? And honestly, I'm not sure if they will even continue the product, but that isn't the point either. The point isn't necessarily that it should be something like Dot from New Computer. My point is just that an application you can talk to that remembers all of the important stuff that then you can use to then you can kind of use to do to be a personal assistant for you. I think that is something that can become the future of AI. As I've always said, I think like context and having the right information, enough information, and well structured information will be really important in the age of AI, especially for companies. I think that will be important anyways, but for more mainstream, like daily use, I like the idea of having a chatbot like that that can function as your personal assistant that you can just talk to, you can give your information to, and who knows, maybe New Computer, the team behind that, will come out with with a new product that is even a little bit better. Maybe they will run several different products. It is really hard to say. I really liked Dot. I still really like Dot. I am, as I said, considering um just paying for the subscription again. It depends a little bit on what they continue to do or what the news they are coming out with is. Um, I saw that in the comment section, one of the founders asked if someone wanted to alpha test it. So it might be a whole new product, but I won't sit here and speculate. It is just important to know that it might just be a fully different product, or it might just be that they are rebuilding something like Dot, or it might be that they are actually updating Dot. My main point here is that I think a beautiful design application that is easy to use with a familiar interface, with which chat is. I think that is probably one of the ways we will use AI in the future. Um, and that might be inside of our note-taking apps as well. I tried this application called Personal AI, which was an AI you trained yourself. You talked to it and you trained it and you asked it to remember things. They started off with a pricing that was would work for personal use as well, but they have gone more into the business side of things. Um, but I think that was a really interesting use case as well, and I feel like something like that could be similar, not exactly the same way, because personal AI required a lot of training. But I think like for this to work out, the context is really important. And I think for it to gain context, it has to be easy to use. That is just my point. So it might be this application, it might be something else, but if I ever find an application like that, I will probably pay for it. That covers today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And thank you so much for watching or listening to today's podcast episode.